First up for the local news, we got man accused of following woman to downtown Orlando home. Ain't that about a bitch?
Now, surveillance video and super clear images you likely saw right here on News 6 has led to the arrest of a man accused of following a woman home and forcing his way into her downtown apartment. News 6's Troy Campbell has more on the charges this guy's facing after that scary incident.
Detectives say as bars were closing here in downtown Orlando, the suspect followed the victim as she walked home to her apartment. Now, almost 2 weeks later, they've arrested him in part thanks to surveillance images they were able to capture from inside the victim's apartment.
After pandemic, it's just gotten worse.
Barbara Robles says she's lived in downtown Orlando for the past 8 years, reacting to the arrest of 36-year-old Alan McCrone. Orlando police say in the early morning hours of September 6th, at bar close, he followed a woman walking back home to her apartment. Detectives say McCrone then forced his way inside her apartment, assaulted her, and stole cash. The woman was left with minor bruises and lacerations. Using these surveillance images from inside her apartment, detectives were able to identify McCrone and arrest him on Friday. Robles says this serves as another example why she doesn't feel comfortable walking alone downtown at night.
After 11 o'clock at night, there seems to be a lot of shootings, a lot of things like that going on, so I pick and choose where I go. I don't stay in the main strip. I actually go towards the side bars, if anything.
Orlando police have not released details about the exact location or the name of the apartment complex where the assault took place.
Ooh, but they gonna put his ass up under the jail. Shocking video shows 3 Orlando bike officers hit by a lady driving BMW. Drunk bitch.
Orlando police say this video shows the moment 3 of their officers were hit by a drunk driver. According to police, the officers were conducting a traffic stop near the intersection of Central Boulevard and Orange Avenue Wednesday night when a silver BMW, seen coming into frame now, slams into the officers and the car they had stopped. Police say the driver of that BMW was 26-year-old Lori DiCarlo. According to the arrest report, officers could smell alcohol on DiCarlo's breath, and when they tried to question her after the crash, she became combative, saying, quote, "I don't know why you're making this a big deal." Officers say throughout the interview, DiCarlo was slurring her speech and having trouble standing. According to the report, officers tried multiple times to get DiCarlo to do a field sobriety test, but they say she refused. Officers say DiCarlo yelled profanities at them and demanded to go home. She was arrested on site and taken to Orange County's DUI breath test center. According to the report, she told nurses there that she had been drinking wine at Wine Down Wednesday downtown. Thankfully, police say all 3 officers and the driver of the car DiCarlo hit are expected to be okay.
You know it's gonna be a little white privilege in this situation, but we'll just see. You'll never hear about this story again. The news ain't gonna never bring it up no more, trust me. All right, we got Polk County Sheriff. Deputy accidentally killed by friendly fire. Damn, that's sad.
Is grieving this evening after losing one of their own. 21-year-old Deputy Blaine Lane was fatally shot overnight. Happened while he was serving a drug warrant early this morning in Polk City. And just a short time ago, we learned that he was killed by friendly fire. Fox 13's Ken Suarez has the unsettling details.
Blaine Lane, 21 years old, a father, and a deputy for only 9 months, killed in the line of duty.
Words can't adequately explain the absolute grief we feel. But it's our job to be at our very best at the very worst of times.
That sadness was shared by hundreds of law enforcement officers and supporters as Lane's body was transported from Lakeland Regional, where he died, to the medical examiner's office in Winter Haven Tuesday morning. Before sunrise, Lane and 3 other deputies were serving a drug warrant for Cheryl Williams, an ex-con. They had just gotten a tip she was staying in a trailer in Polk City. The young deputy was positioned in the front of the home. His 3 fellow deputies went around back and went in.
Investigators say Williams pulled a gun on the deputies. It appeared to be a real gun, but it wasn't. It was a BB gun.
Not realizing that, deputies fired off 6 rounds. Williams was hit. At least 1 bullet pierced a wall and hit Lane in the shoulder and torso outside. The sheriff is now characterizing the incident as an attempted suicide by cop.
She created this entire event. She forced this shooting. She knew if she pointed this gun at my deputies in the middle of the night that we wouldn't return fire to keep her from killing one of our deputies.
Lane was able to talk when he arrived at the hospital, so it looked like he was going to survive, but did not. Williams was also taken to the hospital and will be charged with second-degree murder. In Polk County, Ken Suarez,
Wow,
Fox 13 News.
Can you believe that shit? Now the lady who was in the house, she gonna have to take the blame for all of that because they was there to arrest her. And she pulled out this fake BB gun. Oh man, they finna give her a life sentence just for pulling the BB gun, boy. Trust me on this. Now up next, we got Florida high school student accused of body slamming police officer.
New video just into our newsroom shows a St. Cloud police officer being roughed up, slammed onto the ground by a student. Now that student is under arrest. Yeah, we're being told that student had nothing to do with the fight that the officer is actually trying to break up.
Fox 35 anchor Ray Vieta joins us in studio. And Ray, the police chief is sounding off on this tonight.
The chief says this video is spreading on social media. He calls it an extremely disturbing altercation. Here's how the whole thing unfolded. The officer you see there says he was separating a fight between two students at St. Cloud High School. That's when police say a third student went up to the officer, grabbed him by the neck, pulled him away from the fight, picked him up, and slammed him to the ground. The chief praised a few other students and a school administrator who he says stepped in to help the SRO. Other officers arrived shortly after. In a statement tonight, the chief calls what happened, quote, despicable and should never have happened. We will never tolerate behavior that targets our officers and will hold those accountable at the highest levels. We put in a request for the body camera video to see more of the incident. Police say they're still going through that footage, but will release it to us next week. Deborah, John?
I ain't gonna lie, Jit slapped the hell out that police officer, but you know what? Crazy thing about it is that they praising the police officer for what? What you think? For not shooting the damn boy. He getting all the praise in the world because he ain't shoot the boy. Check this shit out.
St. Cloud police say one of their school resource officers was breaking up a fight when another student grabbed the officer, slamming him into the ground. All of it caught on video. Video given to us from the St. Cloud Police Department shows a student slamming a school resource officer to the ground. We've blurred the face of the 15-year-old student because while police say he was arrested for battery of a law enforcement officer and resisting an officer with violence, charges have not yet been filed. Police say the 15-year-old student grabbed Officer Ball first by the neck and then this. The officer is thrown to the ground. In the video, you can hear Officer Ball trying to calm the student down.
Calm down. Even though he physically attacked him, the officers still exercise a tremendous amount of restraint to be able to just pin him down and just say, okay, let's wait till backup comes.
Julius Melendez, vice chairman of the school board of Osceola County, called this a textbook example of how SROs should react in this situation.
I think that training shows up on this tape. So I'm really proud of the work of the task force to ensure that law enforcement is a partner with the schools.
Melendez created a citizens advisory committee for school safety after this incident at Liberty High School back in January of 2021, where video shows an SRO slamming a student into the concrete.
In that incident, it was the SRO trying to disengage the student from fighting directly. And so when he tried to disengage her, that's when the incident happened, and the student ended up getting hurt. In this situation in St. Cloud High School, there were two separate fights or two separate students fighting. So this student was a third party to the two students that were fighting.
Police say neither Officer Ball or the student were injured in the incident. I've also asked police if they have any other video they're looking at, either of the moments leading up to the incident or any other video aside from the body camera video. But police say that is everything they have at this moment. For now in the newsroom, I'm Lauren Cervantes getting results.
I mean, yeah, that would have been crazy if he would have shot the boy at the school with all the kids and shit. But all this praise and shit because he didn't do it, they wild as fuck. Up next, we got Florida man, 83 years old, died after enjoying a ride at Disney World. That's how he wanted to go out, man.
Dies while riding a ride at Magic Kingdom. The Palm Coast man was on a slow ride when he had a heart attack. Fox 35's Valerie Boy has the response from that family tonight.
Now, the wife of the man who died says Disney did nothing wrong. She says they had just arrived and were on the People Mover ride here at Disney when he died of natural causes. She says he really loved coming here.
I know Joe had quite a bit of passion for going to Disney.
This is 83-year-old Joe Masters at Disney with his family. His wife Alice told us off camera that they were recently on the People Mover ride when Joe suffered heart failure and died. She tells us he recently started using a pacemaker.
It was just overall sadness and shock to hear that. We had just seen Joe a few days before, and to learn of his passing that day was so heartbreaking.
Lieutenant Patrick Giuliano of the Palm Coast Fire Department says Captain Joe Masters served as a firefighter in Central Florida and upstate New York for 6 decades.
Joe was a remarkable person. He had a servant's heart and was always looking to find ways to give back.
And even after he retired from active duty, he continued to serve his community by leading fire prevention programs.
So even up until the day he passed, he was very much active in our department and very active throughout the city.
So when the department found out their captain died,
Joe got the honors of a firefighter. He was given a great salute from us.
Joe's wife has no regrets about going to Disney World, saying he died in his happy place.
You know, he was with his family, and they were at a place that they shared a lot of love and a lot of happy memories there.
And Joe's wife says they've been pass holders for the last 20 years. She says Disney employees were very helpful as she was dealing with this tragedy.
Next of me digging in the local news, we got drivers suffer car problems after filling up at Orlando gas station. They jipping you.
At least 6 customers of an Orlando gas station say contaminated gas did serious damage to their cars.
The Florida Department of Agriculture has since ordered the gas station to stop selling the gas. West 2's Amanda Dukes spoke with some of the upset customers.
Greg Scheibel is grateful his beloved truck is running okay. He says last Monday he got gas at the Chevron Stop and Go on East Colonial and barely made it home.
Got 2 blocks from here, started running horrible.
Scheibel is a retired mechanic and suspected he might have gotten bad gas, so he returned to the gas station to get a sample from the same pump he used and poured it into a glass bowl.
I could see there was water in the gas. It was rusty water that fell to the center. Gas and water separate. Water always goes to the bottom, gas goes to the top.
Scheibel says he showed the watery mixture to a clerk at the gas station and then called the Department of Agriculture, which inspects retail gas pumps. Documents requested by West 2 News reveal on Tuesday the 11th an inspector responded to the stop and go and discovered in 3 of the gas station's storage tanks the amount of water exceeded 0.25 inches. The gas station was ordered to stop selling gas, and the reason listed was contamination. The Department of Agriculture emailed me copies of 6 different complaints from drivers who say they got gas here on October 10th or 11th, and immediately their cars began sputtering, stalling, even breaking down. One driver whose car broke down in the middle of the road sent us a copy of her $671 repair bill along with a photo of what she says is the mix of water and gas removed from her tank. She said over the phone she'd like some reimbursement.
A lot of families don't have that kind of money sitting around. You know, it wasn't fun to shuffle out, close to $800. It would be nice to be reimbursed.
West 2 News approached a clerk at the gas station to see if anyone would comment on the gas issue or plans to reimburse those who suffered damage. But we were told no one would be available to speak with us until Tuesday. Meantime, the gas pumps remain closed with red tags warning
that a gas
stop
station
sale
in East
order
Orange
from
County
the
was
Department
ordered
of
to stop selling gas after the gas was found to be contaminated.
Tonight, West 2's Amanda Dukes confronted the gas station manager over who will reimburse the victims.
Monday, West 2 News reported that the Chevron stop-and-go on East Colonial was ordered by the Florida Department of Agriculture to stop selling gas. Documents reveal at least 6 drivers complained after their cars suffered damage from gas contaminated with water. One driver sent us a copy of her $671 repair bill, along with a photo of the watery gas removed from her tank. Late Tuesday, the state emailed West 2 News to say more than 3 inches of water was found in the regular gas storage tank and 1 1/4 inches in the premium. The inspector said it appeared the water in the tank was most likely caused by the unprecedented flooding from Hurricane Ian. The burning question now is for the drivers whose cars were damaged, who's going to take responsibility? Greg Scheibel is a retired mechanic who says he bought some of the contaminated gas. He claims the gas station management is refusing to work with him on reimbursement. As we were talking to Scheibel, gas station manager Jackie Marilla came out saying he does plan to work with the victims.
And you said, oh, you're working with everybody. You're not working with me. You haven't taken my information, but don't worry. I'll get you. There we go. See you.
I pushed Marilla for answers. Are you going to reimburse them for the damage to their cars or just the gas?
Some of them I already reimbursed them the money for the gas already.
Okay, but what about the damage to their cars, Jackie?
Damage for the cars, that's the same thing. He's like, if the insurance is supposed to take care of that, the insurance is going to take care of that.
Your insurance?
Yeah, so they want to come into us about it.
Marilla claims part of the confusion is that he doesn't know who's responsible for the gas storage tanks, claiming there are 3 different parties involved in the retail gas side of the business. Meantime, the station's pumps remain shut down until the gas tanks are repaired and a state inspector signs off on gas sales resuming. Amanda Dukes reporting, West 2 News.
The Department of Agriculture says the incident is under investigation for possible sanctions or fines. The agency says it does not have the authority to require the gas station to reimburse customers.
Yeah, we've been knowing about that shit for years. Arabs, all them people out with them stoves and shit like that. A lot of them be putting water in the motherfucking gas tank. Well, they got you putting water in your gas tank. You know what I'm saying? Putting all that water in the gas, fucking up these people cars, man. I barely trust Wawa putting in a damn car. The price so cheap, I'm like, damn, there got to be water in this motherfucking gas. Up next, we got Florida middle school student stole 10 grand from grandparents. Little bad motherfucker.
Students walk through these halls all day, every day, absorbing information, learning what they can. But now they're learning a lesson they probably did not anticipate: the consequences of stealing.
Welcome to the school messenger notification system for Marion County Public Schools.
Parents got a voicemail from Lake Weir Middle School's principal Thursday, asking them to give their kids a call. Michelle Spalding obliged.
That's when she was like, yeah, Mom, the child did come up to me and asked me for if I wanted $100, and she said no, it's got to be stolen. I don't want nothing to do with it.
Since then, this has turned into a criminal investigation. The Marion County Sheriff's Office says a 14-year-old girl broke into her grandparents' safe and stole about $13,500 in cash. That was half her grandmother's life savings left over after she'd sold her house. Then the Sheriff's Office says the girl started handing the cash out to people at school.
I really hope it gets recovered because that's so devastating. I feel really bad for the family, for sure.
Students who accepted the money told deputies the girl claimed she had permission to give it away. Some students didn't buy that story and reported it to administrators and the school resource officer.
She said she doesn't know the kid at all. She's never seen the kid at all, which I thought was even more shocking.
The young girl is now facing felony charges for grand theft. She was arrested Friday morning and given a $2,000 bond.
At 14, oh my Lord, that's so sad.
The Marion County Sheriff's Office and school administrators are trying to get that money back. Tune in at 11 to hear what they're doing to get it and how much they've recovered so far.
Ooh, leave their ass toe out the frame. Up next, we got a man found dead in car in Orange County. Could be connected to another shooting, deputies say. Check this shit out.
Exactly right. So we are on Samuel Street in
Eatonville, and this is where Orange County deputies say the shooting happened last night. There was a resident here who caught it on her Ring camera. She didn't feel comfortable sharing that on TV, but I did watch it. It shows these cars racing down the street over here, and you could just hear the gunshots ringing out in this area. Now, this happened around 5:10 last night. When Orange County deputies got to the scene, there were no victims or no witnesses, but they say they did find bullet casings on the ground. People who live in this area say it's pretty scary because this is normally a quiet neighborhood.
Heard the rapid fire, pow, 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 pow. It was like a movie, like being in the Wild Wild West, just cars chasing each other and a shootout. Didn't see any people, just heard the noise.
So then later in the evening, Orlando police responded to what they thought was a car crash at Princeton Street and Westmoreland Road, which is about a 15-minute drive from where we are right now. Officers found a man in the car who had been shot, and deputies believe it is the person who was shot here in Eatonville, and that man is 30-year-old Daryl Lee Merricks Jr., and he died at the hospital. We are still working to learn if the suspects were taken into custody or if investigators are still looking for them. We've been at the scene here for a couple hours, and we've seen investigators going from house to house asking people if they have video and looking for any other information that they can find.
Yeah, boy, been going down in Orlando. Up next, we got family seeks answers after high school student found shot.
The Dr. Phillips High School student was found shot in a car last week. Deputies say the car crashed along Stardust Lane in Orange County. News 6's Jerry Askin spoke with the victim's mom, who says somebody has to know something.
I'm hurt, I'm sad, but at this point I'm more angry because I don't know what's going on or what happened.
Patrice Johnson wants answers. She's hurting and wishing her son was still here. Deputies say 18-year-old Josiah Boyd was found shot in a car that crashed here along Stardust Lane around 7:30 p.m. last Thursday. He was pronounced dead at the hospital.
He was excited, to be going to homecoming and be looking forward to graduating. And also today, he was supposed to be taking his senior pictures.
But for now, all she has are the memories. Here's a photo of her son getting ready for homecoming at Dr. Phillips High School last year. Detectives say they're searching for leads as this case remains active.
I just feel like, certain things I should know already, and I don't. And it's not fair, it's not right.
Does he have any enemies or anybody who would want to hurt him?
No, not that I know of, no.
All we know is that he was in a car and he was shot while leaving.
Kene Anusianwu is the attorney representing the family.
There should be some video evidence that exists. And we believe if there's video evidence, then there's likely to be some form of evidence of a suspect. We're looking at all avenues to make sure that justice is served here.
Mom just wants answers.
Someone seen something, someone heard something, and I just pray that, someone come forward.
Mom said her son was possibly meeting someone here in this area when all this happened, but again, she still has so many questions. The family is hosting a candlelight vigil this Thursday at 7 o'clock at the Eagles Nest Park that's in the Metro West area. If you can help make an arrest or if you know anything about this case, you're asked to call the Orange County Sheriff's Office. You may be eligible for a cash reward of up to $5,000.
Wow.
In Pine Hills here in
Wow.
Orange County, I'm Jerry Askin.
Next, we got jewelry store owner shoots, kills 2 people trying to rob Magic
Police
Mall.
have been investigating in the shopping plaza along West Colonial Drive east of John Young Parkway. News 6's Lauren Cervantes is live there tonight. And Lauren, last time we saw you was a very active scene. What can you tell us?
Yeah, it's still pretty active out here. Police are looking at a couple of different spots in the mall. They tell me that these doors right here near this entrance, this is where the jewelry booth was that was robbed. You can see an evidence marker in front of there. I'm going to have my photographer pan over so you can see it's on the other side of the mall. They're also looking at a spot over here near this entrance, and you can see bullet casings marked by the evidence markers in front of these doors.
You get these criminals that want to come in, commit crimes, and this is what happens.
Pete Lopez was at his booth in the Magic Mall helping a customer when he heard the gunshots.
Well, everybody just ran and people were ducking and they were like, what's going on? A lot of scrambling around.
Orlando police say 4 suspects, at least one armed, were robbing a jewelry booth when the store owner shot at the suspects.
What happened was some guys jumped over the counter. They tried to do a snatch and grab. and they got shot. The owner of the jewelry shop is a licensed carrier, and he shot.
Ms. V owns the booth right next to the jewelry store that was robbed. You see people running?
Of course, they was running and tearing up and everything, trying to get out of here because you had to get down on the ground. You hear gunshots, you gonna stand there? No.
Police say one of the suspects was found dead inside the mall. The remaining 3 ran to their car and took off. Investigators say they were found near Arlington Street and Ventura Avenue. One was found with a gunshot wound and was taken to the hospital where they died. Now, we've asked police a number of questions, including if the store owner has a concealed carry license and what prompted the store owner to open fire. I've also asked the ages of the suspects involved, but police tell me that this is an ongoing investigation. We aren't getting any more details. For now, in Orange County, I'm Lauren Server.
Boy, it's a lot of rough shit happening in the city, man. Well, that's it for the local news.